Well, guys, Ron DeSantis said it best. When he was reelected governor of the great state of Florida, he said, Florida is where woke goes to die. And we have another example of that. Ron DeSantis has been fighting against the wokeness like no other governor in the United States. He is taking them head on. Now, there's a lot of speculation that he will also be running for the White House in 2024. We will actually have to see what happens next year. But as of right now, if he keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to have a very, very good shot at the White House. Now, for one thing, we actually covered this in a video a few days ago. The media has been running with lies out there about Ron DeSantis and this quote unquote AP African American history course. They keep pushing this lie out there that Ron DeSantis is banning the teaching of quote unquote African American history. And I did a video on that, and that is not the case. He is not banning that. But the woke activists out there and the people on MSNBC like Joy Reid, they are spreading that lie. What Ron DeSantis is actually banning is propaganda being put into that course. They're pushing stuff into that course like CRT and like radical gender theory into this course that has nothing to do with African American history. That is what was banned. But your dishonest media has been lying about that. Florida is where woke goes to die. And there's still work out there that needs to be done. These drag shows and stuff needs to end. That's happening everywhere, even in the state of Florida and right here in Texas. Well, it seems like Ron DeSantis has an ally when it actually comes to banning this radical course, this quote unquote AP African American history course. And it comes in the form of a black Democrat actually backing Ron DeSantis on this. Now, when it came to the governor's race, you actually did have Democrats saying they were going to vote Ron DeSantis. And no doubt about it, because he won in a landslide in Florida. But check this out on Daily Wire here. Black Florida Democrat sides with Ron DeSantis on AP African American history course. Quote, I think it's trash. Because it is trash. Another way for the wokes to push propaganda and sexualize your children. And they wanted to put this in a black history course. It says here, Leon County Commissioner Bill Proctor, an African-American Democrat, has sided with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis over the governor's decision to block a woke AP African-American Studies course from being taught in the state that was being developed by the College Board. And this is what Bill Proctor said, and he'll probably get canceled by the Democrats for saying this. Quote, I think it's trash, Proctor said about the course. There is grave concern about the tone and the tenor of leadership's voice from the highest spaces in our state being hostile to teaching of African American history. Well, frankly, I'm against the College Board's curriculum. I think it's trash. It's not African American history. It is ideology, Proctor continued. I've taught African American history. I've structured syllabuses for African American history. I am African American history. And talking about queer and feminism and all that for the struggle of freedom and equality and justice has not been no tension with queerness and feminist thought at all. Man. He's right on the money with that. And I fully expect the wokes to cancel him. He's going to be canceled, but he's right about that. This has nothing to do with black history whatsoever. This is about propaganda and pushing an agenda and nothing more. The Florida Department of Education recently informed the organization that the course's content is inexplicably contrary to Florida law and significantly lacks educational value, adding that the state would reconsider the course should the organization make the material lawful and historically accurate. The course currently undergoing pilots at 5 dozen high schools across the nation is centered upon leftist activism rather than the study of Black history. DeSantis, who signed legislation last year preventing the state's government schools from teaching discrimination on the basis of race, color, or sex, detailed a number of his concerns with the course in a press conference. Quote, "They're advocating things like abolishing prisons," DeSantis said. Now, that's a radical political position. It's not fair to say that somehow abolishing prisons is linked to Black experiences. That's what Black people want. I think they want law and order, just like anybody else wants law and order. So that is more ideology being used under the guise of history, and we want to do history. So there you have it, guys. Bill Proctor, Black Democrat, is backing Ron DeSantis on stopping the woke propaganda. I mean, he said it himself. This isn't about Black history. This is about promoting ideology. This is about, gender queer theory. If they were actually teaching this stuff, if they were actually allowed to it, I'm pretty sure that they would actually be pushing propaganda to confuse kids and transition them. I mean, this is the agenda that they're pushing out there. Drag shows, all this stuff, it needs to stop. They're trying to actually put out revised history. That's what they truly want. And you start them off young. This is why they actually want to go after the kids. Start them off young, get them confused, spread lies to them, and then you have an indoctrinated activist for the next 20, 30 years in the future. Ron DeSantis doing a great job stopping this stuff because it definitely needs to end. And shout out to Bill Proctor, a Democrat that is backing Ron DeSantis. You probably won't find too many of the Democrats that will actually back Ron DeSantis on this, because for the most part, the Democrats, they're perfectly okay with your children being sexualized by the government. The best thing to do, really, folks, is just to remove your kids from government education and homeschool or something like that. I know a bunch of people may have problems doing that, but if anything, you definitely got to be in the know on what government education is actually teaching your kids. When they get home from school, you definitely got to sit down with them and ask them, hey, what do you learn? Let me see on your homework. Let me look at what they taught you today. And if you find any red flags, you need to report the teacher, the school district, the principal, if they're actually violating the law. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.